What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA DFS Early Look. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I, of course, am from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on all social media platforms listed above. We are a premium DFS content provider as well as a DFS community designed to help make you a better DFS player. Go check us out at WiseTake.com if you're willing to take your game to the next level and learn a little bit about daily fantasy sports. In the meantime, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you're notified whenever we do go live. We do all kinds of free content here on this channel for NBA, NFL, MLB Monday through Friday. For the main sports, I guess not NFL. But we also do XFL shows. We do PGA. Our NASCAR shows have been pretty popular and have had some success. So a lot of free content. Don't miss out. Subscribe, notifications bell, and you won't miss out. And don't forget to check us out for our flagship show later on today, the NBA Wise stream. We got a very special guest. We'll have Bobby Fye joining us for part 2 of the show. The NBA Wise stream is a 2-part show, so we'll have part 1 with myself, another game by game, kind of seeing what's changed. I don't anticipate a ton changing. It's a small slate. And then we're going to bring on Bobby for the second hour, along with Paulie D. And, I'll do some dirties, ask Bobby some questions, all that stuff. If there's any questions you want to ask Bobby, let me know. You could just hit us up on Twitter at @wise_take. If there are, but he's a friend of the show. He's been on before, so he's doing his own thing. I think he has his own channel, but we'll bring him on, have some fun, just kind of hang out, talk some DFS. I don't anticipate a lot of news, so it should be good. We'll ask him some questions. It'll be like a hybrid interview / slate breakdown, get his takes, and have some discussions, some debates if we disagree, but maybe we don't. Maybe we agree. Shout out to Travis in the YouTube chat. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's do the dirty today. I'm with it, man. I'm with it. I got to say, I had 100% poll yesterday, which was a disaster. And, what sucks is, we talked about this on the early look. I said, assuming he starts, right? We only want him if he starts. And they did us dirty and told us he wasn't starting when it was too late. It was 8:30, which is when the game started. And then I get the notification that he's not starting when it was too late to do anything about it. That was brutal. But you know what? Even with 100% total, I still managed to profit $50. So that was pretty cool. Those of you who wanted to see my puppy, I did post it on my Twitter at CK_1. At CK_013. I just got back from the gym, though. I'm dogging it, man. I haven't got much sleep because the puppy is just like a baby. He is a baby dog. And I ain't got no sleep. Going to the gym is messing up my gains. My calorie intake is down, messing up my strength. It's wild, but we're going to be all right. And DFS, though, like I said, considering at 100% total, I was thrilled. Luckily, I had around 20% Karis LeVert. We talked about that against Washington, and I think that carried me through. But again, I think I didn't play too heavy just because I got a lot going on. I think I played like 170 teams, and I profited $50, which isn't like nothing to brag about. But considering I had 100% of a guy that only got 11 minutes, I will take it. That's the beauty of playing guys that are cheap is as long as they're cheap and you still have the money to spend and you get the other spend-ups correct, then you'll be in a decent position. With that said, guys, before we get into this game, and this is going to be quick, right? We got 4 games. If you guys can hit that like button, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. The like button goes a long way. I'm authentic. 810 2010. 810 2010. Is that a birthday? Is that a birthday, bro? My birthday is 810. 88. I'm a lot older. But I don't know. It looks like a birthday. I mean, obviously that's real young, so maybe the birthday of a kid or something. Anyway, 810 is my birthday. I like those numbers. I like that combination. Without further ado, hit the like button, guys. Let's go ahead and get into this. We've got a small 4-game slate. This really shouldn't take all that long, but we're going to start things off with the New York Knicks visiting the Philadelphia 76ers. Let me just pull up the schedule notes article that our boy Jay Irv does. Completely free article over at WiseTake.com. I always recommend that everybody checks that out when they start their slate off. Here we are. Yeah, I always recommend everybody check it out when you start your slate off, just to get an idea of where the teams are. The schedule in the NBA is huge, especially when it comes to actually betting on the games. So understanding the schedule, being aware of the schedule is very, very important. With that said, the Knicks are on the back end of a back-to-back and a 3-4. Philly is also on the back end of a back-to-back. They're in a 4-6. We know Joel Embiid got hurt yesterday and didn't return to the game after a certain point. I think the second half he just didn't play at all. As far as the spread goes, the Knicks are currently 6-point underdogs, opened up at 7.5 down to 6. The total opened up at 212.5. It's down to 210. Obviously, we have some injuries. So starting with the Knicks side, you're going to get a lot of really low ownership here, and for good reason. The Knicks have been very, very tough to predict. Julius Randle was on pace to smash yesterday, and he only got 25 minutes. Still no explanation as to why. The game was pretty close all the way through. He was playing well as far as fantasy players think. Maybe if people saw the game, maybe there was something they saw, or maybe they just wanted to get other guys some time like Bobby Portis because maybe they felt they were playing well and the Knicks aren't playing for shit. So maybe that was it. I'm not really sure why you would take the main piece of your offense in a close game and limit them to 25 minutes. I didn't hear anything about an injury. Still haven't understood why they did it. If they do it again, then that's going to obviously put us in a situation. But because of that, the Knicks have been hard to predict. Therefore, they've been hard to project. Therefore, they've been very low owned every single day. So on a 4-game slate, if you're looking for low ownership, this is a team that you can get it from. However, this is the lowest total on the board, so I wouldn't go overboard. Mitch Robinson played big minutes yesterday. No Embiid, should be a little easier against Horford, at least in terms of staying out of foul trouble, but obviously he's always a risk. Alfred Payton's kind of interesting. His price come down to 7K, 7-1. Still seems kind of expensive for the production. He only got I think 31 minutes last night, maybe even less than that, I'm not sure. But we know he's got triple-double upside, and he's going to be very low owned relative to the other point guards on the slate. So again, the Knicks to me are just more low ownership plays. RJ Barrett could be interesting, but his minutes were also limited. They closed with Bobby Portis, I think Alonzo Trier. They closed with a really weird lineup. So I don't know how much I'm going to want to mess around with the Knicks side just because you're guessing. That's just the truth. On the 76ers side, there's going to be a lot. Obviously, the total's not great. We discussed that. But at the same time, we got guys that are underpriced. Al Horford with no Embiid is underpriced. Josh Richardson with no Simmons or Embiid is underpriced. Tobias Harris, I wouldn't say he's underpriced. Well, I guess you can say to a degree he's underpriced. On FanDuel, he's underpriced at 7K. But I would expect him, as you can see, I kind of maxed his minutes to a degree. I don't expect him to play a full 40, but I think he'll get close. And I think that you have to take into account the usage increase he's going to receive with no Simmons or Embiid. Simmons is one thing. No Embiid, that's huge. So I do like the main three players, Horford, Richardson, and Tobias as the mainstays. Obviously, Horford and Richardson are a little easier to play because of their pricing. Furkan Korkmaz has played well. I think that has a lot to do with why Alec Burks hasn't really been unleashed. Alec Burks is the one I'm on the fence with. You would think he's going to get more time. I think he closed yesterday because they started tie ball in the second half. I don't think there's a situation where they're really going to need tie ball much. What is it, Pop? I don't think it's a situation where they're going to need Tybo much because the Knicks don't really have any super dominant scoring wings. So I think this could be a situation where they use Alec Burks for the offensive purposes. Again, they're without Simmons and Embiid, so they need some scoring and everything else. Shake Milton has played really well. He got 37 minutes yesterday. I do like Shake Milton, especially on FanDuel at 4,300. So my main four right now are going to be Horford, Richardson, Tobias, and Milton. But again, I don't necessarily want to rule out the possibility of Alec Burks seeing increased minutes. So I know he did close that game. So we'll have to see. If we see Burks in the starting lineup, I would be willing to load up. But even though we have a low total, we have a lot of usage and minutes to make up for. So I do like the Philadelphia side. I mean, you can always get a little crazy if you think Kyle O'Quinn, that Norv Pele dude has been out. If he remains out, maybe Kyle O'Quinn gets some run. But hard to justify him getting too much run, especially because the Knicks don't exactly have dominant bigs. I mean, Rich Robinson can be, but I mean, it's hard. It's hard to predict how long he's going to be on the court. So the Sixers side definitely going to be something that we want. But we have a lot of injuries though. Next up, we got the Portland Trailblazers visiting the Indiana Pacers. Looking at the schedule notes, both teams working with a day off. It's good to know. We've got a 218.5 total, up from 217.5. The Pacers 9.5 point favorites at home. The Blazers haven't looked very good without. I mean, for fantasy they look good, but in general, as a real NBA team, they have not looked good without Damian Lillard. So CJ McCollum, it is what it is. He's going to take that Dame role. He's not as good as Dame in my opinion, but he's going to sit there and take all his shots and grab some assists, and he's going to play a ton. We've seen him play anywhere from 38 to 43 minutes in regulation. Him and McCollum are pretty much evenly priced. Obviously, McCollum a little bit cheaper on FanDuel. You got to take your pick. They're going to need Whiteside on the court, of course. They got Indiana's a big team with Sabonis and Turner. And they're typically a good defensive team, though we have seen scoring dominant guards like do well, guys that can shoot. McCollum can certainly shoot. So I'm interested in McCollum. I definitely am. It's a 4-game slate, so maybe on a regular slate, you look for a guy that's got a better point per dollar value, but on a 4-game slate, raw points are going to matter a little bit more. And I mean, he's going for 50s. You know he's got the potential to go for the 60s. It's not the greatest matchup, but definitely a piece you want. You want a piece of him. And the same goes for Whiteside, who's the next best in my opinion. Carmelo Anthony, we can work in on a 4-game slate. I don't expect him to be too popular. Trevor Ariza, the same kind of story. And Gary Trent is fine for value. He's so scoring dependent. His point per minute average is very low, so I'm just not terribly interested. If you really want to get deep and get wild, you can take a look at Anthony Simons. But again, McCollum and Whiteside are my two favorites. Then Ariza and Melo kind of secondary. The rest are kind of just shuffling through. On the Pacers side, so we don't really have, we're waiting for news. Oladipo is pretty important here. If Oladipo plays, 4,800 on FanDuel is way too cheap. I don't mind the 62 on DraftKings, although he hasn't been himself this year. We know he's got it in him. The usage has been fine. It's just an efficiency issue, trying to learn how to play with some of his new teammates. If he gets ruled out, I think TJ Warren becomes very interesting on both sides. He's already kind of priced right on FanDuel at 5.6. He's played really well lately. Malcolm Brogdon on FanDuel is ridiculously cheap. I like him regardless. On DraftKings, I would prefer an injury, but I still think that for low ownership, we can consider him. Myles Turner is okay. Just a cheap option. I went Horford right there. It's tough to me to envision getting him, but Horford also has power forward eligibility on DraftKings, so you could play them together. It's not the worst idea. And then Sabonis, Sabonis, I'll probably have lower than the McCollum and all that because they have an injury, right? They have a reason for Sabonis to go above what he normally does. I'm sorry, for Whiteside and McCollum with Dame out, they have a reason to go above and beyond. I guess if Depot's out because Lamb's already out, you can kind of give Sabonis a little bit of a boost. I'll work him in. In 31 minutes, he was 1 assist away from a triple-double. Shout out to Paulie. Paulie liked him a lot that day. Curious to see what his ownership looks like on a slate like this. We'll take a look at it later when we get into the final look later on, the Y stream. But in the meantime, he's a guy that keep an eye on. I may raise his projection just to make sure we get a little bit of him because, he's like on DraftKings kind of the same price as like Whiteside, so that they're kind of interchangeable. And I do think his ownership may be fairly low. And this is a team, Whiteside, he's big, but he's not a good defender. And then when you got Turner and Sabonis on the court, one of those, only Whiteside can only stick with one of them. So one of those guys is going to get mellow or some crazy shit like that, right? Unless they do something crazy. Portland could try something crazy, bump people around and end up playing one of the Wenyan Gabriel or something like that at the 4, which obviously isn't very imposing. So there's definitely some interest here. It's a 4-game slate, so we got interest everywhere. Next up, we got the Sacramento Kings visiting the Oklahoma City Thunder. We've got a 222.5 total. The Thunder are currently 6.5-point favorites at home. Both teams have had a day off. However, both teams have a game tomorrow. So if this game gets ugly, it's a possibility both teams kind of bail. Something to keep in mind. With that said, I do expect the ownership here to be fairly low because all the other spots. Again, neither of these teams really having, that type of leverage or situation. Boy, you better put my shoe back. Hold on one second, Nation. Dog trying to bite up my shoes. Go get your toy, fool. Go get your toy, fool. That's mine. Stay away from that. Stay away from that, boy. Looking at the Kings side, we've got Bogdanovich, kind of interesting. I expect his ownership to be low. The Kings have been a little wonky with their rotations. Alex Len could be back or could play. Which could affect Harry Giles' minutes. I did like Harry Giles, especially on FanDuel at 4,500 at power forward. But obviously, if Len is available, it's going to make things a little scary because we know in the past they've never wanted to play Giles big minutes. But lately, they have been playing him more. So I'm kind of interested. It's going to be a tough spot. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. He went out and grabbed my wife's slipper now. Boy. Dude went out and grabbed my wife. It's her birthday today, too. Happy birthday to my wife, Amy. Anyway, as far as De'Aaron Fox goes, he got hurt in the last game, ended up coming back, only got 32 minutes, but I expect him to play 33 to 34. I think he's a fine play that I expect to be somewhat lower owned, though he's going to see a lot of Chris Paul, who I don't think is as good of a defender as he used to be. But in general, Oklahoma City is typically a good defensive team. Last time I said that, the Chicago Bulls went out there and scored a ton of points against them. But it is true. Normally on the season, unbelievable, dude. Why you got to play with the slippers? No, go get your bone, fool. You got like 50 bones, and you playing with this shit. Unbelievable. After that, I mean, Harrison Barnes is a minutes play. He's playing a ton of minutes. Buddy Hield's minutes have been way down, but obviously we know he has that massive upside. And this is a spot where a player like him could excel against OKC, where shooters are typically where you want to stick with. So there's some opportunity here. It's just a matter of where is it and how does it compare up with the rest of the slate where we have some super big boosts. On the OKC side, Gallinari remains a decent play, just kind of like middle of the road, just kind of blah, but fine. Dennis Schroeder's kind of interesting. He's cheap. I don't know about his ownership, but he's playing 29 to 31 minutes in his last game. He got like 32 and a half, so I'm cool with him. Chris Paul's kind of expensive, but the ownership's going to be low. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has played really well lately, but he just doesn't project well, and his minutes haven't been as high as they were earlier in the season. Steven Adams, I do think is interesting. Number one, the Kings are going to be terrible against centers, regardless if Len plays or not. And number two, Adams has been hot, man. He's only getting 28 minutes or so the last couple of games, but he's going for like 40s like nothing. So I'm definitely interested in him. He might be the one I'm most interested in on this team, and maybe Schroeder next. But, I don't want to spend too much time on this one. Here it is, last game of the day. We got the late night hammer. Los Angeles Lakers visiting the Golden State Warriors. We have a 221 total that's down from 225.5 since LeBron is out. The Lakers opened up minus 13. They're down to minus 10. So even without LeBron, the Warriors just suck that bad. Rajon Rondo figures to be the top value play on the slate, at least in terms of popularity. Both teams working with a day off, by the way. Anthony Davis is obviously the top stud. I'll have a shit ton of him. I'll have a shit ton of Rondo. After that, we got some decisions to make. Unbelievable. Yo, Patches, you got bones, bro. You just took your bone out of here. And now you're bringing me all these shoes. Go get your bone, fool. Anyway. So this is where things get a little interesting. You have a lot of value to work with, just kind of pinpointing which ones you want. Now, a lot of these guys are so cheap that you could play multiples, but obviously you don't want to get like too caught up to where maybe you play the one guy that doesn't play. So outside of Rondo and Davis, who are just like Rondo the top value in my opinion, Anthony Davis the top play in general in my opinion. You got Kyle Kuzma, who shows the most significant. Who shows a very solid usage rate, but his minutes have been down. I would still assume that they're going to need him as that secondary scorer, like that secondary shooter with Anthony Davis off the court, no LeBron. You got JaVale McGee, who should start, but has played minimal minutes. Perhaps he plays more today. You got Dwight Howard, who's also very cheap. And both guys, mind you, Golden State is a team that is awful against centers. What's interesting about Howard is he's the one that we've seen in the past get the blowout run. What makes it complicated is Markieff Morris is now there. And he's also 3,100, and we have no idea what kind of role he's expected to play today. So there is something we're going to want. KCP, Avery Bradley, these are all guys. I mean, LeBron James being off the court, that's a massive usage player with big minutes to kind of go around and spread around. There we go. But if he gets a squeaky toy, too, that's what he does. He knows what he's doing. He's messing with me. I'm not giving him no attention. He's messing with me. Anyway, so a lot of opportunity. Lakers are a team that we're going to have a lot of exposure to from all different fronts. Boy. And for good reason. Come here. It's okay. Go get it. Go get it. There you go. On the Warriors side of the ball, my apologies, Nation. Gotta love him. Draymond Green's expected to be back. That's going to mess things up a little bit, in my opinion. The Warriors side, a little tougher to project. I don't mind Draymond, just assuming that he tries to play well and step it up. Boy. He's 5'5" on DraftKings, 5'8" on FanDuel. I'm cool with that. Marquise Chris, this is a pretty good spot for him, I think, in terms of like they're just going to need him. His price is low as well. Jordan Poole is okay at his price, but I think I prefer Shake Milton. Wiggins is kind of interesting, right? I know Draymond's going to be back, but if Wiggins gets big minutes, if the Warriors go for the game, that's the issue, right? They're not really playing for anything. So it's a matter of, are they going to actually go for the game? That's the question. I don't know. We shall see. Oh, we want to play some fetch, boy, don't you? Yeah, multitasking nation. That's what we're doing. You guys are playing with my dog with me. Oh, he finally figured out tug of war, did he? He finally figured out tug of war, this dog. Yeah. You finally figured that out. I've been trying to get this dude to do tug of war. He won't ever do it. He just lets it go. He's a good boy. Yo, 3 months old. He came potty trained from the shelter. Isn't that crazy? Anyway. So, yeah, the Warriors side, A little tougher to figure out, a little tougher to project. Maybe we get some more information as we go. We're going to prefer some injuries. But that's going to do it, Nation. We'll be back later. The cheat sheets are up for now. Remember, the new cheat sheets are automated based off our projections, which I run. So throughout the day, checking up, make sure you see how everything ranks. They're ranked in positions and tiers and point per dollar ranking to make sure that you guys see who the top plays are according to our projections. And they update when we update it. So we get some news, I make an update. It's going to reflect on the cheat sheet. So make sure you check them out throughout the day if you're a WiseTake Nation subscriber. And of course, don't forget, just tune in for the NBA Wise stream later today, 5 p.m. Eastern. First part, game by game with me. We'll see if anything changes. And then, of course, part 2, we have a 1 hour. The second hour, we bring on Paulie D as always. And this time, we got a special guest, Bobby Fi. So it should be a lot of fun. Apologies for the dog distraction for those of you who are not dog people. I know I haven't popped in the chat. Please hit that like button, guys. Please hit the like. I'm going to answer some questions before I get out of here because I see you guys got some questions. I'm authentic. 86, boy. Okay, I'm 88. Let's do it. I love it. 810. Let's go. Joseph says, let's get it. I'm with you, bro. Let's get it. Aaron Cameron, WiseTake Nation subscriber, long time now. Is Rondo a good chalk? I think so, but to Nana, who is the next, who said a statement after you, saying I like Quinn today, that's kind of an interesting pivot on a lower owned slate. Definitely. Barnes or Adams out of this game? Yeah, I don't mind it. Donald says, what does your dog look like? I actually posted a picture on my Twitter at CK_013. I did post a picture of it today because I had a bunch of people asking about the dog. He's a good boy, man. He's 3 months old. A dude came potty trained. You got him from the shelter. He's from Kentucky or some shit. I'm in Jersey, so there's some kind of program. He was in Kentucky. They went, had this thing, and they bring him up here to try to get adopted. 13 weeks. 13 weeks, man. This dude has not had one accident in the house. He cries to go outside when he has to use the bathroom. He's just good, man. It's crazy. He was a stray puppy. That's it. But it's cool. Wife and I trying to get him home, so he seems happy. Got separation anxiety like a mofo, and that is annoying, but also cute. You know how some of y'all, I see in the chat, some of y'all got dogs and shit. That's the truth. But yeah, like Joe says, I have a dog too. So y'all know what it is, man. He's a puppy. But Donald, go check me out on Twitter at CK_013. And we'll do the dirty. Dan says, yo, CK, you the man. I appreciate it, man. You the man. All y'all the men, y'all the woman. I do appreciate you, those of you that do support us and continue to watch the shows. And, it goes a long way. And you guys watching the shows and hitting the like button and all that stuff is what keeps us going. So the minute you guys stop supporting us by watching us and hitting the like button, that's the minute that we won't be able to, we won't be able to continue. So as long as you're here, we're here. That's the bottom line. Dan T, we miss Cashin. Yeah, man, everybody does. I miss him too. I talk to him all the time. I did every podcast with him at night, did some live streams with him. I talked to him throughout the day, so it was cool. But you know what, man? He's doing his thing. At the end of the day, he's a family man. He's got a bunch of kids. He works really, really long hours. Works late night as hell. So at the end of the day, he couldn't do it no more. And I don't blame him for it. I understand his priorities and shit. I don't have kids right now, so I'm taking the shot. But he's got a lot of them. And, he's going to handle his business, man. A man's going to do what a man's going to do. A woman's going to do what a woman's going to do. Everybody's going to do what they got to do. Josh Jennings, is Cash never coming back? I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. He doesn't really seem like he misses it. He seems like he's content with his life. But you could ask him directly. I have no idea. Obviously, he's always welcome. We'd always welcome him back. We didn't leave with any bad blood. He just couldn't continue. But Cash is still our boy. Always will be. It's up to him. With that said, Nation, I'm going to get out of here. Please hit that like button. Don't forget to check us out at WiseTake.com if you're looking to better your game or if you want to use our projections for the night. These are the projections that I use every single day. And we're going to get up out of here. So hit the like button for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation. We'll see you at 5 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel, Twitch channel, whatever it is you want to use. And as always, good luck.